Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. I'm your host, Wesley, and this year we've changed things up. I'm joined by my co-host,
Rebekah,
who is going to be doing our Wednesday. Well, I say Wednesday because that's when we record these, Rebekah, but really, they go up on Patreon on Wednesday and the next day on YouTube. But anyways, Rebekah's doing our breakdown podcast. That's the better way to put it. And Mary will be doing our winner analysis. So we've had a swap. We did a tribe swap. We did a podcast swap. And the reason being is simply due to scheduling.
Yeah.
In case people have conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm excited to be here. This is, shaking things up. New season. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah. Like Jeff, I threw a twist on Rebekah when I literally asked her, I think last week, I was like, actually, we might have a scheduling thing. Can you change? She's like, yep.
Yeah. I'm here. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, hey, we're going to go through the entire, if you've never listened to us before, welcome. We're going to go through the entire episode in order to the best of our ability. Sometimes that doesn't happen. We will also be going over things such as question of the week. We have trivia questions where we try to get each other basically to not know the right answer. We'll do TV ratings starting next week because obviously I don't have any TV ratings. We're literally recording this after the episode is done. And we will do winner analysis, a shortened winner analysis tonight. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a full-blown winner analysis with Mary, and we will answer y'all's questions at the end of the podcast. So, Rebekah, we had a 2-hour premiere this time instead of the 90 minutes we had last season. How'd you feel about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly felt pretty good. There were a couple moments that I felt like, okay, this is like a little bit of filler, but for the most part, I mean, I'm always a fan of longer episodes. Like, I think it just gives more content, especially with the first episode when you're getting to know people. Like, there's just so many people to get to know. So I'm a fan of giving us more time to get to know everyone for sure.
I agree on the premiere. I'm worried because next week's going to be 2 hours as well, which I noticed they didn't really promote. They probably don't want to scare people off.
That is interesting. Yeah.
It is 2 hours next week. I'm worried about that one because Jeff said, I think it was during 45 or right before 45 that they filmed 45 knowing it will be 90. And this season they only thought it would be an hour. So they planned everything thinking they only had an hour. And now they have double the length. I'm a little bit worried next week, but we'll see. But I'm a little bit worried that it's going to drag. But then the rest of the season will be 90 minutes, which should be just fine. In my personal opinion. Yeah. But this was a solid start to the season. There was nothing egregious, nothing crazy amazing.
Quit, so that was good.
You know what though? I think the 45 premiere is better because of the mess of Lulu. Lulu was such a mess and I loved it.
I don't know. Yanu is giving Lulu a run for its money, in my opinion. But yeah, Lulu was a special case for sure.
There's always one tribe who struggles, and Yanu's definitely a struggling tribe. But Lulu was a mess. Like the mess tribes are, in my opinion, are more rare. There's always one tribe a season that struggles.
I think that is true. With Lulu, it was the tribe as a whole was a mess, but also everyone as individuals they were also a mess. So yeah, that is true. That there was more messiness there, I suppose.
And the quote unquote best player, the moment he steps foot on another camp, immediately is identified by everybody as a threat and is gone. So from Lulu. So yeah. Anyways, let's talk about 46. So a few things I want to note that Jeff, because in the preseason of every season, Jeff goes and does lots of interviews and he drops lots of information. So it feels like whenever we do these premiere podcasts, that's when we get all this information from Jeff. So some of the things, I don't know if I told you all of these, Rebekah, so this might be news, maybe not. He did confirm there are going to be no returnees on 47 or 48. Are you surprised?
Oh, okay. Yep. Not really.
No, me neither. I 50, obviously.
Yeah, 50 is going to be crazy. I'm excited for that one.
People are trying to compare it to the first 10 seasons. We're like, oh, season 8 was All-Stars. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like that was in response to the ratings starting to dip. So they did All-Stars, to increase the ratings. Where I don't feel like that's not, they don't have that motivation this time, 40 seasons later.
Yeah.
So I figured 50 was going to be the next one. And Jeff basically said as such in interviews. He also said they're going to have no more villains, though this has been taken widely out of context. What he means is they're going to have no more, like that's their whole characters just being a villain. Like there's nothing else to them.
Interesting.
People can be villainous, but they still are going to be 3-dimensional, is what he said. I don't know if you heard this one, Rebekah.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, I suppose. I'm all for a good villain, though, I have to say.
Well, we had some villains last season, but I get what you're saying, because like they totally could have one-noted people like Bruce or Katura, or who else was villain? I mean, Hannah was kind of one note, let's be fair.
Yeah.
That's on her, though.
Yeah.
But yes, they could definitely one-note people if they want to. And I think with 90 minutes, it's almost like you have to that is beyond a conscious choice to make somebody a one-note villain with this much time on your hands. Whereas before, it was a lot easier to purple people or make them one note for the simplicity's sake. Another thing is Survivor Horizon Island is a VR game that's going to be on, I guess, just the Meta VR headsets. They just announced this like 2 days ago, and it's coming out in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, ooh, that means they must not have a lot of confidence, because they did not give anybody a heads up on this thing. In my personal opinion, though, Rebekah, when I sent it to you, you seem more excited than me.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't really do a lot of VR stuff, so I probably won't, do anything with it. But I don't know. It's interesting. Like, it's cool that they're, I like when they do different things to kind of like branch out and like try and make it more interactive for people. Like they did the game within the game thing a while back and like stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's like fun. I don't know if people will really do it, but I don't know. It's cool that they're trying, I guess.
It's got to be better than the game that came out during 45. That was actually just a translation of a French game, a French Survivor game, which by the way, it looks atrocious.
Yeah.
It looks atrocious.
That sounds atrocious.
I watched the gameplay. I was like, oh no, because I don't want to name drop, but yeah, a couple of people reached out to me like, oh yeah, you should cover this game. And I'm like, it just looks like a waste of my time. So no, but you feel free to go for it and spend $30 on it. But no, this one I would be interested only if I had the VR, because it actually is officially Survivor. I mean, it's officially licensed by Survivor, though in the trailer, Jeff's voice is in it. And it sounded like Jeff was very stilted, which is weird.
Do you think they opinion. Did they like do like I don't know what it's called, but like an AI print of his voice, basically? No. Do you think?
Oh, that could be it. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it close enough to know, but yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm like, why couldn't they just take clean audio from an actual season then? Whatever this, I could be wrong though. It's just I watched the trailer twice and I was like, okay, I'm never gonna get that because I don't have a VR headset. So, all right, well, anyways, and the last thing is that we have a fantasy survivor league. It is not on the Make Your Picks app. That's what we did last season because they sponsored with us. But this season we're doing a new one. It's if you're on Patreon, which links in the description, free to sign up for. But for all the paid patrons, all the patrons who are paying, it doesn't matter what tier you're in. I have a link on there. It's a private fantasy survivor group. Rebekah's in it. Mary's in it. I'm in it. We'll see who wins. It's just for fun. I think for 47, I'll have a prize, Rebekah. I talked about it with Mary today.
Oh,
but for 46, we're just doing for funsies because this is a new website and I don't have all the kinks worked out. But link in the description. Any tier on Patreon, and you can join our Fantasy Survivor League. We'll see who wins this time. It was not me last time.
It was also not me last time. I did not do well last time.
I think I beat you and Mary, but it was only at the very, very end. Like I finally pulled it out at the end, but no, I didn't. First part, you guys had me. So, all right. Let's go into the episode proper. So Rebekah, we start this episode with Tevin narrating, which actually I liked. I really liked his narration. He's a good narrator.
Yeah. I had a note that whichever producer like got him to give that opening monologue deserves a raise because he just has such a nice voice and like, it was such a cool, like very dramatic opening to the season. And I agree. I really liked it. He's
an actor. He said it and I believe
That's true. That's true.
I remember when 44, when they opened with Carolyn, which was a total different tone than this. And I was like, whatever. Like Carolyn's cool. Like she's a kooky character, but Tevin like really set the tone. I liked it. It was nice. It was nice. No negative notes at all. I was like, this is just good opening. We then get a series of things. By the way, Rebekah, feel free to jump in here because I didn't get everybody's thing about themselves. I was trying to I was like, oh, it's so rapid fire. Okay. Bhanu applied. It sounded like he applied for Survivor. Correct me if I'm wrong. The day he got citizenship. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I understood. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely what Jeff wants to hear.
Yes. Yeah, Bhanu is like a very interesting guy. He seems very like enthusiastic. And yeah, that's a great like origin story that he applied the day he got citizenship. I mean, that's really cool.
That's almost guaranteed to get on. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's like definitely a good foot in the door to get on the show, feels like.
Yeah.
To get noticed, I mean, when you sending your tape. So Bhanu, they loved him in confessional too tonight.
Yes.
I don't have confessional counts. I'll have them tomorrow when I do it with Mary, the winner analysis. But if Bhanu didn't lead, he would be second, I would assume, in number of confessionals. Like whenever they could. Bhanu.
Yeah.
Bhanu.
And they were like really good confessionals too. It was, a lot of, we got strategy from him. We got personality. I feel like, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like he just seems like really good for morale and like the kind of guy you'd want to keep around camp for a while.
It is true. Our next person that I have a note on is we get Hunter, and Hunter's like, I'm from Mississippi. I work hard. I'm not into Taylor Swift. Cut to Charlie. He's like, I love Taylor Swift. And I'm like, holy cow. It's like Rebekah's on the show.
Yeah, that was literally my thought. I was like, oh, I don't need to sign up to be on the show anymore because here's my representation.
Charlie's got you covered. Yeah. Rebekah, you're the Swiftie here. How much of a fan is Charlie? Is this fake fandom or does this look legit?
It's a little hard to tell. He did mention Eras Tour merch. So that seems, pretty like legit, like that's a real thing. Although we didn't see any photos of him in Taylor Swift merch, which I feel like we normally, I don't know if it's like a copyright thing. I don't know. Maybe they can't show it on TV.
Do you think
I don't know.
Survivor has the guns to go against Taylor Swift? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. But there was like one time that they were having a conversation and like music came up and he mentioned that he likes Taylor Swift, but then they immediately changed the subject. So
think he was singing?
I think, yeah. I think he is probably a real Swiftie, but I would like more Taylor Swift content, please and thank you.
I remember last season we had a Swiftie section with you in our winter analysis. Yeah. People are like, don't want to hear about Taylor Swift during a Survivor podcast.
Yeah.
They forced it this season.
Yeah, exactly. It's out of our hands. It's literally in the show. We have to talk about it.
They're forcing us. We don't skip anything ever. We have to talk about this. It seems like a legit fan to me. I don't know why you'd out of all the things to fake, that's not the thing I would fake. So
yeah, that's true. Although, and I did want to mention this too, because he said he's going to law school and he doesn't want to tell people that he's like a lawyer, he's becoming a lawyer or whatever.
No, brother.
And I was like, that's the same thing that we had last season. There were like, 3 people who were lawyers that like lied about it.
Can we stop casting lawyers?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of them got pretty deep in the game though, so maybe it's a strategy, I guess.
Yeah. 2 of them made Final 3 last season and 1 made Final 5. They all made really far last season.
Yeah.
So. Oh, brother. Next up that I have is Tiffany says she's a hustler. And I thought, well, you're on the wrong season. That was season 35. Healers versus hustlers. But, whatevs. Kenzie. So there's a couple. I felt like Rebekah. I know you're normally our winter analysis podcast co-host, so you're probably more attuned to this than maybe the average Joe. But did it seem to you like there's a lot of red herrings in the opening here for winners?
Yeah, it seemed like there could be. I don't know. It's always like, and I feel like also at this point the show, they're trying to do things to like throw us off the scent too in terms of like the edit or whatever. I don't know if we want to talk about Matt chat at all, but like the fact that they're not doing that anymore in different things. So yeah, I don't know. I think that, the show really likes to do a lot of misdirects, especially early. It's just hard to tell from like one episode, but I think the show likes to kind of play with that for sure.
Well, the reason I brought this up is because there was a couple tonight that I caught just in the opening here. One is Jeff says only one can survive. Then we get a confessional from Kenzie. All these are red herrings until I have more proof. Q says he wants to be that's not a red herring. I'm just going through my notes in order. But the first red herring was Kenzie talked after Jeff says only one could survive. Q says he wants to be the quarterback. And I noticed that at this point, there's been a lot of Purple Tribe talking. I don't know. It feels like a lot of purple and not much green.
Yeah.
Purple and orange dominating the opening of the show. And that's usually sets the tone for where's the winner from.
Mhm.
Unless they're doing a complete 180 this season, which is possible, doubtful, but possible.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at least in the first episode, Yanu was kind of, a hot mess. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised if the winner's on this tribe, but, like, it is going to be a pretty, I don't know, like a interesting origin story for sure if the winner is on this tribe.
So with the match chat, Rebekah, you mentioned how with the match chat, they changed it. Now, I have a couple suspicions. One is that this was filmed, I believe, right after 44 ended or right when 44 was about to end. I think it was right after 44 ended. Don't quote me on that. I don't have dates in front of me. But I can check Survivor Wiki real quick. They filmed this June 1st. Yeah. So it was right after 44 ended. And this was, if you recall, during 44, we talked about it quite extensively, the match chat and how annoying it was that it was giving away all these seasons in a row. And it wasn't just us. It was in the Edgic Reddit. It was on, it bleeded over to regular Reddit. I even saw it on Twitter. I didn't check Facebook to see if people were in on that. That's usually the most casual of the audience. But it was mentioned on our podcast extensively. I'm sure on other podcasts as well. It feels like they finally responded to that. I know we joked in 45 that like they avoided talking to the winner, but they still had a match chat. Here, this felt like, oh, you think the match chat gives away? We're not even going to show the match chat because there's definitely a match chat, Rebekah. You think Jeff just knows Jelinski called Jelinski when his first name is David? Like that was definitely said on the mat, and they cut it out of the show. I'm sure he talked to all of them.
Although I do have to say, because I've wondered about this in the past, and maybe I don't know if you'll have some insight into this, but when they've done the mat chats in the past, and like Jeff is like, "Oh, getting to know you. What's your name? You know, girl in the purple or whatever." Isn't Jeff like pretty involved with the casting? Like I feel like at this point he knows everyone's name, and he knows like. Yeah, if they go by a nickname or anything.
Yeah,
I don't know. Am I wrong about that?
No, he's Jeff's like the head of the casting, if not like if not like the second head of the casting or whatever. Jeff talks to all these players. He already knows all of them. He does that for the sake of the show, like what's your name?
Yes.
To introduce them to us. But I'm saying that he already knew to call Jelinski. Like any other season of Survivor, the player has to tell Jeff, hey, can you call me by my last name? Or they ask him.
Yes.
And that's why he does it. But so it's like made a point of. But I'm saying it's probably made a point of, and they just cut it out of the show. But during Jeff's ramblings here, during what would have been the match chat in past seasons, there was a lot of him talking about people winning and winning. It was like he said a lot, so it cuts different faces. And I'm like, this is blatant. This is on purpose. And I'm glad. I'm not complaining. I am happy that they're trying to fool us. I want to be fooled. Please fool me. I do not want to know halfway through the season that D's going to win. It's annoying. I don't like it. I didn't like that we do Jam Jam was one of 3 at the beginning of 4. I didn't like it. I liked it when Gabler surprised us. That was one of my favorite surprises. It was like Christmas. So let's have Christmas in May this year. That's what I want. Surprise me. I truly want to be surprised. But anyways, he says something like, you all believe you can win, and like cuts to Tevin. So it's like, these are the kinds of things I'm like, okay, does this so many times. Like these are red herrings. I didn't even catch every time he did it. I was like trying to keep up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught anything I didn't. That's what I was saying. Did you catch any like red herrings?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think just the ones that you're mentioning of, cutting to people but doing it with so many different people that it's like, okay, yeah, these are misdirects. Heck,
even Jem or Jamelia, I don't know. I think I'm going to call her Jem because I don't know if she goes by her full first name, nor do I know how to say it for sure. But Jem says, I'm going to be the sole survivor. So it's just like, it's so blatant, the red herrings, and I am for it. I am pro. Trick me. Please trick me. I don't want to know halfway through the season. That's boring. So, all right. Well, Rebekah, we have our first challenge, and this is you. Tell me all about this opening challenge.
Okay. So in our opening beach challenge, all of the tribes have to get into pairs. And so each of the pairs race through this, there's like mud and under a net, and then they have to dig in the sand to get themselves under a log and then go get 2 giant, like heavy puzzle pieces and then bring them back to where the rest of the tribe is. So they do that in pairs. And then once they have all their pieces, there's, I believe it was 3 tribe members that worked together to create the puzzle, which turned into like some steps. And then one person used a pole to retrieve the flint, and the first tribe to get their flint wins. And then we got Sweat versus Savvy, or not really versus Savvy, but Sweat or Savvy again this year. So second place got to choose if they wanted to do Sweat or Savvy, and then third place, otherwise known as the losers, had to do the other one that wasn't chosen.
Jeff loves to make that a point. That's like the only time Jeff can trash talk anybody. He's like, last place, otherwise known as the losers. Jeff's
losers.
The only time Jeff can really like trash talk the players and get away with it.
Yeah. I love it when Jeff gets sassy or savage. It's great.
I rewatched recently with Mary, Survivor Nicaragua, and Jeff is like, even though the season itself is very, it's okay. Jeff's very savage and sassy in that season. Yes. One of the most sassiest seasons. So
yes,
I miss it. It won't happen again. I like when we get glimpses of it. I enjoy it. It's why I like Jeff is perfect for the show, and not the Amazing Race, which was a whole thing. So all right, So Orange Nami tribe wins. Now I'm not an anime. I'm not big in anime, but I have heard through a lot of comments that the show One Piece features a character named Nami. I Googled her, and then I immediately went, oh no, I'm going to get recommendations I don't want on my computer.
Oh, no.
Nothing inappropriate, but it's definitely like, I see why people like her, if you know what I mean. Based on images. I don't know anything. So don't rip me apart. I'm just saying, I was like, why are people so into this person named Nami from the show? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
She's hot. All right, gotcha. So, so they get first. Green Siga, I'm going to call them by the color of the name so people know who we're talking about. The Green Siga tribe gets second. So last season, 45, it was Sweat and Savvy. This time it's Sweat or Savvy, as you pointed out. But the twist here is it's sight unseen. You're making the choice, because before it was never sight unseen. They made the choice.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
All the first 4 seasons of the new era, it was they got to see and make a choice. And then last season, there was no choice because it was you're doing both, whether you like it or not. And then this season, they had a choice, but they didn't get to know exactly what the task was going to be. So Green gets second, and they decide, hey, let's not work ourselves to death. We'll do the Savvy challenge. And I got to tell you, I was a little confused when it happened. I mean, I get it now in retrospect, but at the moment, I was like, I was with them. I'd be like, I would, in the heat of the moment, the timer and the cameras on the first day of Survivor, I wouldn't have got that either.
Yeah. There was a lot going on in that Savvy challenge, and it was kind of hard to follow. So first day of Survivor, the adrenaline's pumping. Like, I don't think I would have done well with that either.
That's like, just give me the physical brute task.
Yes.
Of wearing myself out. I don't know. I don't know if that's any better, but I mean, I feel like under pressure, like you have 4 hours to do the water, and even if you fail or not, at least I don't have to think too much about what I'm doing.
You're so right. And also, like, of all the times to put yourself through something that physically demanding, I feel like day one is the time to do that, because you've eaten recently, like you're well rested, like you're in the best shape that you're going to be in the whole season or the whole time out there. So I agree.
Though if your game plan is to appear dumb, do Savvy and fail epically. I mean, if that's your game plan,
that's true.
Rebekah, you're going to be podcasting with me on Friday night, which we'll release on YouTube on Saturday, about the traders. And I've come to the conclusion that I think on the traders, the best position is to be the one where you're playing dumb. So
that's true.
Sometimes it works, you know.
It's a strategy for sure.
Look dumb. I don't know though. In Survivor, it's a little different because tribes of 6. It's like you don't want to be a weak link. Whereas in the traders, everyone's just one big group. So different show. We do encourage you all to check out that show, by the way. If you don't know what we're talking about, the traders, it's on Peacock. It's basically a big budget version of Mafia set in Scotland. That's the best way to put that.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
Features past Survivor players like Suri, Stephanie, LaGrossa, Parvati, Sandra. So if you haven't checked it out, watch it. But I encourage you to watch season 1 before season 2, because a player from season 1 does return season 2. And I don't know if it's going to spoil anything else for season 2, but I think that's, just watch them in order. You'll enjoy it. You will.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, Green fails at the task. I don't blame them. Charlie and Ben, it happens. Things happen. But the purple Yanu tribe, Rebekah.
Yeah.
What happened? What?
Yeah.
What went on here?
So what happened is they gave up. Specifically, Jelinski gave up.
The legend Jelinski. Get it right.
Yeah, he likes to talk a big game. And Jelinski is a very interesting person because he's like a slot machine salesman in Vegas, I think is what his job description was.
Do you think he goes casino to casino, like he walks around selling slot machines?
I guess I heard that and I was like, oh, Vegas, like he must be good at like, cards and like manipulating people and like, whatever. But that is not, I think he's just a salesman. Like and not to say like, not to say just a salesman in like a demeaning way, but like he didn't bring the level of like cunning and gameplay that I thought he was going to. And yeah, so they're doing like the sweat challenge, which did look very challenging. I mean, they had to fill like 2 giant urns with buckets that had, holes in them. And so you have to like walk all the way from the ocean to however far it was to the urns and like you're losing water. And it did look very challenging, but they had, I think, 4 hours to complete the challenge. And within like an hour and a half, Jelinski was like, yeah, this is impossible. I'm giving up. And then he takes the timer and throws it towards like on the beach and it shatters.
So Jelinski, I think, Rebekah, if you'll let me go here, just let me run with this. I think he's playing 4D chess. You see, Jelinski has seen the new era of Survivor. He watched 4142. He saw that if there is an hourglass and you break it, you get to not only go back in time, Survivor style, of course, you can't literally go back in time, but he knows you go back in time, you get to change the result of the challenge. So maybe he was thinking, I break the hourglass. And of course, we win the challenge because I'm going to change the result of this of the previous immunity, or not the immunity, the challenge we did on the beach, and we actually won. You're so right. And if only that were the case, we couldn't even think. Our brains are not as big as the legend Jelinski. Yeah, okay?
He's outplaying Jeff. He's outplaying the entire Survivor team. Yeah.
I want to point out that somebody else was also from Las Vegas. His name is Sammy. He's only 19 years old.
Oh,
Didn't know that. Big
Sounds
secret.
Familiar.
Sorry for just now telling everybody. I will somehow figure out how to get all of the running jokes in this podcast. Just work with me here. That's the first one. I will point out that David's 21. Sammy, his real age right now is actually 21 as well. So he was also, Jelinski was also 19 when Sammy was 19. Big brain, 40 chess. He was thinking ahead. I know.
It's all coming together.
All come together. Yep. All right. So. All right, so let's go some other things I got here. So that's the challenges. Both teams fail. By the way, after 44, Rebekah, I don't know if I talked about with you specifically. I know I did with Mary, but I was like, man, everybody just succeeds at these sweat or savvy challenges. Like, what's the point of them?
Yeah.
Here we have had back-to-back seasons of failure. So good.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I wanted.
Yeah.
Though in this case, I think the Purple Tribe I think Jelinski was right that they weren't going to get it. I think he was right, but the appearance of quitting is huge. Yeah. It's one thing to fail. It's another thing to quit, as we talked about with Hannah and Sean last season. So,
and I think especially when it's day one and you're making first impressions, like you want your tribe to know that you're the type of person who is going to give everything that you have to like win the game. Or to, win an advantage for your tribe or whatever it is. Like, yeah, you don't want to become known as the quitter on day one because that isn't, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to come around and bite you for sure, as we saw tonight.
Still better than Hannah, though.
Yes, that is true.
He didn't quit the game. He just quit a challenge. A little different.
Well, yeah, he quit a couple things, but not the game. So that is true. He
said not only did he say that if he gets Jess out, he'll be a legend, but also he did say that Jeff likes to talk about the monster and he's the monster. So Jelinski, the monster legend, is here to play. All right. Don't get it twisted. It's too bad he's not staying around longer so I can make jokes about Jelinski. So we get a couple backstories, but I don't know if I'm not going to qualify any of these as backstories because there's no flashback to pictures, which I appreciated, by the way. I really did appreciate it. Because in preseason stuff they were posting on Instagram, Twitter, wherever they were posting all this stuff at, they were doing flashbacks. That's where just keep them there. It's okay. Just keep them on socials where I can ignore them. But because somebody made a supercut, Rebekah, on Reddit of all the sad backstories into one video. And I was like, holy cow. When you put them all side by side like this, it is excessive. Even more so than you can understand watching them all separated. So,
well, even like in the episode last season, I think in episode 1, was it last season or it might have been 43? I can't remember, but yeah, there was one where it felt like everyone's an underdog because everyone had like a sob story in the first couple episodes. And so
41, 42, 43, and maybe 44 had that. 45, they waited till episode 5 to do it.
Okay. Yep.
Because the Jake and Dia got it in episode 5 of 45.
Yes. Okay.
But no, the first 4 seasons of the new era, it was excessive. I think 44, they slowed down a little bit, but for 41, 42, 43, it was like, holy cow, can we just like, can we just watch Survivor?
To breathe
here. Can I watch Survivor? Do I need to hear everyone's sad story? So if we're going to do it, this is the way to do it. Because I bring it up because Bhanu said he lived in a mud hut in India and he was there for 18 years. And I'm like, okay, we didn't cut to a picture of him in a mud hut in India. Thank you. It's okay. You can just tell me that. Great. It felt less like it was being forced on me to sympathize with them. He's like, it's more like, here's the facts. I'm excited. Like, look where I came from. Like, I'm on your team, dude. You know, I'm with you, Bhanu. And then later, we also got Maria is from Lebanon. I think I'm saying that country right. I apologize if I'm not. And I want to point out, Rebekah, that the show loves to cast people from all walks of life, people from every location, and I applaud them for that. Like Survivor just goes above and beyond. They like to cast people from everywhere. They do not discriminate. All 46 states of the United States plus all these other countries get cast from, and I applaud them for that. They don't ignore anyone. So,
yeah.
Did you catch the sarcasm?
Yeah, I did a little bit there.
Only Alaska, West Virginia, New Mexico, North Dakota weren't shoved. We're literally casting people from Lebanon, but we can't get anybody from these 4. It's been 46 seasons, Rebekah. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Also, someone was from Canada. I think they mentioned as well this season.
Well, that's expected. That's okay. We're past that.
Is Canada the 47th state
Canada
in the Survivor universe?
Is our donut coffee loving brothers, sisters. Canada's fine. I don't like that they come in and win every time, it seems like.
Yeah.
But what am I going to do?
Yeah, they're just so nice,
Yeah, they're just so gosh darn nice when they win and take my $1 million. It's
your $1 million?
Oh, when America loses, I lose.
There you go. Okay.
I'm a true patriot. But for real though, like I cannot believe we're like anything to avoid casting people from these force, anything. And watch that, Rebekah. Watch that. That's the hard correction they'll make next season. It's like everybody's just from those 4 states.
Only people from those 4 states.
Only people from Alaska, West Virginia, New Mexico, North Dakota now. And I'll be like, Rebekah.
Honestly, I'd be on board with that. That's the 4 tribes. It's just people. They have to start with 4 tribes instead of 3.
The Alaska
people
tribe.
From those different states.
And like the Alaska tribe's all like buff, like wilderness people. The West Virginia tribe, they're all like angels because it's almost heaven, as John Lennon said. People from New Mexico, I'm like, I don't even know what people from New Mexico look like. Has anybody ever like lived there before? I don't know. And then North Dakota, it's just like a bunch of pale white people who speak like from the movie Fargo.
Basically Canadians, to be honest. I have friends from North Dakota, so I can say that.
Oh yeah, we do, don't we? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't want to say their names on the podcast, but yes, we do have friends from North Dakota. Yeah, they're basically, the tribe's just name is basically Canadian, but whatever that is in Fijian. Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, fun and games are over. Tevin, over on the Orange Tribe, says, I watch a lot of Andy Griffith. And I am cutting ahead a little bit here because Hunter also watches Andy Griffith. And then they have their whole Andy Griffith alliance, and they got the copyright.
There were a lot of fun alliance names in this episode, I have to say. And the Andy Griffith alliance, my little homeschooled heart was very happy that people know what Andy Griffith is.
Mary's with you because I believe she also watched a lot of Andy Griffith growing up.
Yeah,
she was also homeschooled, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I watched some Andy Griffith growing up. I just know that Barney has one bullet in his pocket just in case something happens. That's what I really know. Oh, and Ron Howard, That's where he got to start at. Who I know as a director, but and from Happy Days, but no, he was on Andy Griffith first. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a little kid on that show.
Gosh, I wonder if he had parents that got him into that thing, or did he just like really break through on Andy Griffith and just took advantage from there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Without looking up, I have no idea. But his daughter's in a lot. I think Bryce Dallas Howard's been in a lot of stuff. Getting way off
she's
topic.
in that. This is very off topic. She's in that new movie Argyle, which is great. But
are you being for real? I've heard it's trash.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I don't know. It's a fun movie. Like it's not like the next like cinematic classic, but it's so fun.
So Liz owns a lot of companies. Back to Survivor.
Yes.
I've not watched Argyle, so I can't comment. Liz owns a lot of companies, and immediate thought was like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I know why, because you want to sound cool, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Is my thought.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I kind of get it in the sense of like, you can project like, hey, I'm smart, I'm very savvy, like I've been successful in life, but I don't know, like, yeah, you have to downplay it a little bit. I mean, she was just going full on like, yeah, I've started 4 companies and like I've sold 2 of them. And like, as soon as she said that, I was like, everyone is thinking you have money. Like that's the first thing that everyone's going to think. So I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm all for like talking about your successes and stuff, but like, I don't know. You got to downplay it a little bit, especially this early in the game.
You just don't talk about it. You just don't have to talk about it. Talk about whatever your favorite company is and say that you work for them, because that is true.
Exactly.
And you
can talk about what you do and be like, hey, like I've been successful doing this, like whatever she said about helping people email, whatever. Like, like, because that sets you up as like, okay, you're savvy, you're smart. Like, but I don't know.
You're not sweat. You're just savvy. You're not sweat.
Exactly.
Can't be both.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't take a note on this, so I don't know exactly when it happens, but I'm going to bring it up now. There's a lot of issues with trying to open coconuts. And this is how I know when people are, and this is going to be a blanket judgment statement. So shoot the messenger. I'm the messenger.
Yeah.
Back in earlier seasons, we've seen it multiple times when locals would come to their camp as a reward. Now they haven't done this in a while, but locals come to their camp and be like, hey, if you don't have any things, any machetes or whatever to open your coconut with, put a sharpened stick in the ground and then crack your coconut like this on it. And they've shown this, Rebekah, in many, many seasons. I remember specifically in Survivor Vanuatu. Now, if I go on Survivor, I know this because I've seen Survivor. I know, if I make a sharpened stick and I put it in the ground, I do it the right angle, I can get the coconut. So I see people try to do every way but that. I'm like, okay, well, just okay. People say they're super fans, but like, I've seen this enough times on the show Survivor to know this is why I should try. Even if I fail at it, I should try this. So I don't want to judge everyone, but like, come on, get it together.
Yeah. I feel like especially in this new era, like knowing that you're going to come into the show with like so little resources and like it's probable that you're not even going to have a machete for the first couple of days, like just from a statistical standpoint. Yeah. Like, there's certain things you got to know. And I think the coconut thing is one.
Making
knowing
fire,
how to start fire is like so obvious. And I feel like there's still people that don't know that coming in, like when they hit the island. And it's like, how do you not know that? Like that seems super basic, but
I hate to throw a blanket judgment. And that's I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, for real, I hate to throw blanket judgment because we're not hearing from everybody about all their skill sets. Some people are probably known to make fire, or they feel like, I practiced it, but I just don't want to like be the one to do it, you know? Yeah. So I get it. But at the same time, the fact that nobody tried the technique we've seen I don't say 1,000 times, but a bunch of times on Survivor is like, are you a super fan? Cause anyways, I'm done with my blanket judgment. So Soda starts the fire. Good for her. Yeah. This is also
Camp
the same
counselor.
Yes. The same lady who said that she wants to play like Survivor 42, just the whole season, I guess. Just when asked preseason, who do you want to play like? She said Survivor 42. I was like, oh,
perfect.
Any player in particular? Did she mean Marianne? Maybe.
Yeah, it could be, because I will say she gives off kind of Marianne vibes. I think
that's the archetype they gave her.
Yeah. Big personality. We got to hear like a lot of fun quotes from her. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so she starts the fire. There's a lot of camp songs. And everyone's singing the camp songs. Hunter's like, I've been a camp counselor and I don't like camp songs. I've been trying to get away from them. And here they have followed me like a plague.
Poor Hunter.
Poor Hunter. Mary could relate. I looked over at Mary. She's like, Mary's never even been a camp counselor. I've been a camp counselor. I don't really remember the songs part. I mean, I know we did it. I don't remember disliking it. I liked being a camp counselor. Have you ever been one, Rebekah?
I've never been a camp counselor, but I did attend camp as a youth all the way through high school. As a youth? So
back in the day.
Yes. Yeah.
As a youth. Those youths. So during the challenge, this is before the hourglass break, Jelinski, and he's going to say this again later, Jelinski, the monster legend, says, several hours is 7, not 4.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at first until he repeated it later at the challenge. And I really appreciated that everyone's reaction was just, what?
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm Googling this now.
No, because I think several is like more than like 2 or 3. Because I think a couple is like 2 or maybe 3. And then several is like 3 or more.
A couple's not 3. That's I think a lot of marriages would tell you couple's not 3, Rebekah.
Oh, you've never heard of a throuple?
Oh, we're gonna stop there.
Okay, all right.
Keep the podcast PG there, Rebekah, as far as I want to go on that one. So yes, a couple
Fair
is
enough.
2. Beyond
Fair
that is, in my opinion, I agree with you. 3 is the beginning of several for me.
Yeah.
When I think of several. So 4
I think that
to me is like a
3
generous
is like kind of gray area. Because, I have heard people say, it's a little more rare, but I've heard people say a couple and mean 3, but most of the time it means 2.
I'm going to attend your wedding. I'm going to be like, oh, there's 3 people getting married today. Okay, all right. You're like, dearly beloved couple. I'm like, oh, Rebekah was. Okay, she told me, I guess. All right.
Yeah, I warned you right here.
Okay, so I Googled several. It says being of a number more than 2 or 3, but not many. So I guess several starts at 4. What is 3 then? If 2 is a couple, 3 is a crowd, I mean.
Yeah, third wheel maybe. I don't know. I think that 3 is a gray area. It can mean, like, you can say either a couple or several or a few. Any of those things can mean 3.
A few, yes. A few would be 3, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not 7. I mean, it can be.
It's not 7.
But it's not
definitely not 7.
It's not exclusively 7. It's not like 6 is, several is not 6. Several is not 8. No, several is just 7.
He was like, yeah, several, 7, they're similar words.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, no.
So you buy slot machines from Jelinski's, like, I'm going to sell you several of these. You're like, okay, cool, I'm getting like 4. No, he gives you 7. You're like, oh, well, it's a better deal than I was expecting, I guess.
Technically, yeah, he just upsold you, though. So maybe he's a good salesman. Maybe he's out here playing 4D chess, and none of us are keeping up with him.
He's playing several D chess.
Oh, my goodness. 7D chess.
Several D chess. 7D chess, yep. All right, so we go over to Ben, and Ben's super positive. He's super into music. We get this whole positive segment from him. But if I'm recalling later on, it didn't sound like Ben was going to be a part of the majority numbers because it was an all women's alliance plus Charlie for Charlie's Angels on the Green Tribe. So Ben being super positive actually didn't do him any favors in terms of alliance, though we saw this last season with Sifu, who's super into music, and that did him no favors either.
Yeah, I was just going to say he has maybe a little bit of Sifu vibes. He's not quite as much of a character, but in the sense that he seems like he's really like fun to have around camp, but I don't know.
Archetype.
He's not in a great position in the tribe at the moment.
Yeah, and we'll see. When you got to go tribal, that's when
episode 1.
Feet are put to the flame. What's really going to happen here? We're just talking right now. As a Green Tribe, they're just talking, and nothing's actually happening. We see Mariah say we really do hear. It feels like we hear from everyone. I don't know if we skipped anyone. I don't think we did. The show, not me. I'm sure I did. Mariah says she struggles to make connections, but she connects with the other ladies. So I feel like I believe it or not, despite how I sound on this podcast, I think that would be my struggle too. I'd be like, I will go for it, but I am not natural at making connections with a ton of people. Some people, not a ton.
Yeah. I think I'm the same way. Like, if I have things in common with people, I can connect with them. But like, yeah, when you're put in a situation where it's like such a diverse group and you have to like find connections with people, it doesn't necessarily come naturally. That, yeah, I would struggle with that as well.
Whenever we go to those, I'm not going to name the festival. Where we go to the film festival to Rebekah, and Mary and I, and you're there. I'm like, there's just so many people here.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk to all of them.
Yeah.
But also I kind of do, but like, I don't know how. I don't know. It's like,
yeah,
I get it.
I mean, with Survivor, like it is fewer people because it's like, what, 6 people on a tribe? But
yeah.
It's like so important.
Plus,
and
cameramen are there watching you.
Yeah, it's like there's so much pressure on it where it's like, yeah, the world is literally watching. And also, like, I have to have good, solid connections with all 5 of these other people who are from different walks of life and different experiences. And like, I feel like it would just be too much pressure in the moment.
I get it. Day 1, I'm like, I'm either going to be totally jacked up or I'm going to be a little bit like, hopefully I'd be on the jacked up side. That's not always the answer though, as we see with Ben here. So,
True.
If Jess goes totally introverted though, I wonder how much of this is, I don't know if she's sick on day 1, but by the time day 3 comes around, Jess is sick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she's I'm not saying puking or anything. I'm just like, Jess not getting any sleep and her brain's mush, like a Ben there.
Yeah.
She's sick.
I think the lack of sleep would be that would be killer. That'd be tough.
Ugh, I feel for Jess. I'm actually a little worried that they should just, in my opinion, should have voted her off over Jelinski for the sake of the tribe. We'll see long term if this pays off. Because if, let's say that they do win challenges and Jess stays, she probably is the better person to go to the end. I mean, not to the end, but like to be aligned with.
Mm-hmm.
She might be the better person to be aligned with, but if you don't win challenges because you have a sick tribe member, it probably would be better to keep Jelinski.
A sick tribe member who's going to give everything they have, or a stronger player who might just quit like halfway through the challenge, I
don't know. There's pros and cons to both.
There are.
I'm not saying there was a clear-cut decision tonight by any means. They both were equally valid.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was in this position, I would have gotten rid of Jelinski. Like, I don't know. Even with just being sick or not sleeping or whatever, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I would rather have someone who's like fully committed to being there than someone who might quit on me halfway through. I think that's just like, I don't know. Yeah, for me personally, I would not appreciate that. We
do see the monster legend Jelinski interact with Kenzie. They both have similar tattoos, apparently. I'm like, what are the odds of that? But they have similar tattoos, and she calls herself Queen of the Tribe. Now, I can't tell if Kenzie's being set up as the way too cocky person who's going to get her comeuppance later. It's very possible. Or is this just calling her shot? My gut feeling is maybe on the cocky side, based on so far.
I feel the same way because, like, I think her first time we hear her talking, she's like, I'm looking for the disco ball, and like, I'm ready to party, and she seems like, very much like a social player for sure, but like, I don't know if she could play
herself out of this game. She could play her way out.
Yeah, I do get cocky vibes from her for sure.
Yeah. So sorry for that. That's the feeling I get too. So, Tevin likes Hunter. They make the Andy Griffith Alliance. We kind of talked about that before. There's the Charlie's Angels, which is all of the green women combined with Charlie. Charlie's like, I work with women, so this will be great. Tim does see this though. And Tim was my preseason winner pick with Mary, just based on his bio. We had no video to go by. After seeing this episode, I don't think Tim, I can't say 0% chance, but Tim is definitely giving me not winning this game vibes. Like at all. Like nothing here, unless they're really pulling pulling out some big moves on us here, Rebekah. Tim's one of my early, like, I don't think he's winning people.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. He didn't really do anything that, like, I don't know, stood out to me as like, oh, yeah, that's like a winner there,
Yeah. I hate to say it. So Venus is worried. People will think she's a princess. And then she goes idol hunting, which we see a lot of this episode. this is all part of, they filmed this for 60 minutes. So we get a lot of stuff that just doesn't matter. Like Venus idol hunting doesn't matter because she didn't find anything. Just all smoke screen. But at one point, somebody calls her Parvati Light, not Parvati 2.0, Parvati Light. And I'm just like, I told Mary, like, 14 years after Heroes vs. Villains, we're still doing this. There's no one else to compare to. Parvati's, is it because she's on the Traders right now, so they left it in? I don't think so. Like, Parvati hasn't done anything noteworthy on Survivor in 14 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was like, well, she wasn't even like the first to do it necessarily, but like, I don't know. She's an iconic player, of course, but yeah, it is kind of like, and I feel like people kind of use that as like a trump card in a sense of like, oh, let's throw this person under the bus because I'm going to call them like a Parvati type, and
it's so
big
tired.
red flags there, Yeah, and
so
it's
tired.
Like, what does that even mean at this point? Like, I feel like it's just a thing you say when you feel intimidated by a young woman, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, kind of weird.
I don't think we got the theme song tonight, did we?
No, we did not.
2 hours. And we're definitely getting it next week. They got time to burn next week. So we should be getting it next week, I assume.
They might put it in a couple times.
Doubtful that it will spoil the winner like last season's did when it spoiled D.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was interesting.
I hope it doesn't spoil it. It's one of those things they could easily change, because if they'd gone all last season and nobody noticed, they could have done it again. But because people did notice, I doubt they're going to do it again. So it's just, they like to throw, and by the way, I am all for the editors giving us winner hints that in retrospect, like, oh, yep, sure enough, there it was. I just don't like when it's halfway through the season, we've already figured it out. That's the lame part. So, all right. Randon says so Randon specifically called Venus Idol Hunter. He's another one who I'm like, he has not gotten the kind of content that makes me think he's going very far.
Yeah. Yeah, especially given how this whole interaction goes down, because he catches Venus idol hunting and then says that she's like a Parvati type, and he goes and talks to, is it Soda? Is that her?
I believe her name is,
I think I'm pronouncing that right.
It's longer than Soda, but I believe we can call her Soda and be okay. Yeah.
Okay. So he like goes to her and like talks about it, and so then Soda's like, oh, well, okay, now I don't trust Randon, and then she goes and like kind of teams up with Venus. And so, yeah, I feel like in that whole interaction, Randon just kind of like, I don't know, didn't end up in a good spot.
No.
Like, yeah, I think he like thought, oh, maybe I'll like earn some trust here, but he really didn't, and kind of put a target on his back. So, yeah.
So the boats show up to every camp, and my eyes rolled to the back of my head immediately the moment they showed up. I know it's going to come. It happens every New Era season. But they showed some people going, oh my gosh, what's happening? Oh my gosh. Oh, what is this? What? And I'm like, is this your first season of Survivor? Or are we only showing the people who are here because they or know how to play up to the cameras? Because they cut to me on the island, eyes back on my head, like, oh.
Honestly, that would be so entertaining to have someone who's like, I don't know, like a Jim from The Office, where like every time something happens, you just look directly at the camera.
Jims the camera.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, just one season we get somebody who jims the camera, and that's just like their thing.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And idols found on the path at waist height, jims the camera.
Like, oh, brother.
By the way,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, I would go out and do Survivor to be that person.
The thing is, they would never leave it in the show. You would do this, and they wouldn't leave it in. It's too meta for Survivor. To leave
unless
in the show.
That was the only thing I talked about in all my confessionals.
I'm a huge Office fan. I love Jim from The Office when he jims the camera, and then they'll cut to
it's my favorite
B-roll
thing.
footage of you doing it. That's the only way it would be included. Yeah. Your personality could not be about Taylor Swift, Rebekah. It'd have to be about The Office.
Yeah. Oh, I got to pick one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We are doing 3-dimensional characters now, so I guess you could pick 3 things that are your character type.
Okay, so I've got Taylor Swift and The Office. Got to come up with a third thing.
Probably something not media related. Maybe something like a real life character trait.
Oh, like have actual depth to me as a person, not just like, okay, gotcha.
You're also a podcast host. There you go. That's true depth. Yes, true depth. Takes a lot to talk about a show on the internet. We had to go to college. We got master's degrees, not PhDs. I'm not a doctor yet.
Yeah.
All right. So
put in our 10,000 hours.
We get this journey. The note says, get on the boat. And I'm just like, you didn't have to include a note. Like, people just figure this one out on their own. There's no twist to getting on the boat. It's just pick somebody. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we get Tevin. I believe it's Mariah or Maria. I could be saying that wrong. And Jelinski. And can you explain this card game, Rebekah?
Yeah. So essentially, they see 3 large cards on like a little table thing on the beach. And there's 3 cards. So one has a torch icon, one has a vote icon, and one has a skull icon. So they're supposed to shuffle the cards, and then each of them pulls a card. And whoever has the torch card has to announce it and show it to the other 2 players. And then the other 2 players, who one of them has the vote card, one of them has the skull card, they each have to try to convince the person with the torch card that they have the vote card. So if the person with the torch card correctly chooses who has the vote, then the 2 of them each get an extra vote. And then the person who has the skull card loses their vote. And then if I understood it correctly, I think if the person with the torch card chooses incorrectly, I think everyone loses their vote, or I wasn't clear on if everyone loses their vote or if the person with the vote card still got to keep it.
My understanding is, sorry to interrupt you, but my understanding on that is that the torch person needs to pick the person with the vote. And if they do, then the torch person and the vote person gets an extra vote. But if the torch person picks the skull person gets an extra vote, and the other 2 lose their vote.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and that would make sense because you want the people who have the skull and the vote to like try and convince the person with the torch that they have the vote card. So that makes sense.
What were your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
You know, I thought it was kind of interesting because it is like, okay, you've literally just met these people. You've talked to them like maybe 2 sentences, and now you have to figure out who's lying. So like from that perspective, I thought it was interesting. And it is kind of fun that it's like, I don't know, it's something that feels a little interactive in terms of like watching it, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, okay, this person's lying and like trying to figure out who's telling the truth and whatever. The way it went down though was like almost kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say boring because it was just funny because like Maria had the torch card. So Tevin and Jelinski, Tevin had the vote, Jelinski had the skull card. And so Tevin is honest and he's like, you know, I have the vote card. Jelinski like tries to lie and say that he has the vote card, but then like Maria basically like pulls out the mom card and is like, well, if you're lying to me, I'm going to have to go back and tell my whole tribe that you're not trustworthy. And he just folds like immediately. He's like, you know what? You're right. I have the skull card. And I feel like that was just the worst of all worlds because like you lied. Everyone knows that you lied. And then also like you weren't, he just didn't commit to it. And so I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is like, I think the concept of the game is interesting, but I don't think it was really played to its full potential in this episode. So might be nice to see it come back again at some point. But yeah, I don't know. What did you think about it?
I Googled the word contrived and it explains my thoughts exactly. It's not spontaneous, natural. It feels labored. That's how I felt about it. I'm like, this is boring. Even if it went exactly to plan and people committed to their lie, it's just like we drove them on boats to here to play, and then that's it, and that's all we did. Okay, all right. This is a waste of time. If you want to hand out advantages, just hand out advantages, which we did before, by the way. We planted them right next to the fire, and I complained about that too, because that's even worse. Yeah. But why do we have to do a journey if this is all you can come up with? This is it? Why are we doing this? This is like a rough draft of an idea, in my opinion. This is not something that should have made the show. This should have been left on the table and said, hey, let's come back to this for 47, 48 and come up with a better version of this. Cause this is lame. I don't know if they practiced this. with like Dream Teamers, like, oh, this is good. This has got to be in the premiere of the show. Like, all right. At least with the journey up the mountain, they had to journey up a mountain, and we got a pretty view out of it. At the worst.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I almost wonder if there's like some, kind of like you're saying, this being a draft of an idea. I wonder if there's like some layer that they could add to it to make it more interesting. Because like, I think part of it was like, you're trying to determine if complete strangers are lying. And like, so, exactly. And it's also like, I don't know. The stakes are high, I guess, kind of, but it needed something more. You're right.
They could have done this after the merge. And I do mean after the merge, not the merge story. After the merge. And it would have been interesting because like, these are people I know, people I'm living with. And then you do it and it's like, okay, you know, that's different. Cause like you, number one, can have a read on these people. Number two, now there's some sort of social dynamic that goes into this. Because if there's any payoff to this socially, it's not going to happen for, I don't know, till episode 4 when we have a tribe swap. If we have a tribe swap, which I assume we will, because 45 had one. But that doesn't mean we're going to have one. That's like, okay, so we're going to pay off maybe in 3 episodes, but not really because Jelinski is gone anyways. So there's nothing to pay off socially at all.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, whatever. Whereas if you did this post merge, if they had to do this version of the idea, it pays off immediately because all these people are living together and they're voting for each other that episode. So, contrived just because there's a premiere. We got to do something, I guess, for a journey, but like if you're gonna do this, come up with a better version of this or do it at a better time. In my opinion, sorry to be so negative on this one, but it's just like, I watched him like, who cares? This is the first time all episodes like, who cares? Yeah. All right, cool. And then Jelinski, he like lies and then doesn't commit to it. And I'm like, the moment the moment this was presented, I said, just tell him like from the moment I was like, just tell the truth. Like, there's just no benefit to lying in this situation. Like, I don't know. I know the producers in there are like, come on, let's play this game. Yeah. And like, they're really egging you on. So you feel like you should. You're on Survivor. You know, you got to be basically a yes man to a degree to get on the show. I'm not an idiot. I know that works. But I don't know. So anyways, I don't care. We move on. It's basically, long story short, it's Tevin and Maria or Mariah. I'm going to figure it out one day. I think it's Maria.
I think it's Maria because there's also a Mariah on the same tribe. So I think it's Maria, but I could be wrong.
I'm with you. I think it's Maria as well. Okay, so Jelinski quits again on that challenge. He tells his tribe the truth, and I mean, his tribe is mad at him.
Yeah, which, like, fair enough. Like, I think that was something that I thought was kind of funny is, like, you could at least, like, try and make yourself look a little bit better when you're telling the tribe about this. Like, I would not have told them, like, yeah, I tried to lie and then I failed and then I just like, gave up immediately. Because the reason is because now his tribe has seen him give up
twice in 2 days.
Like, 2 things. And he wanted so bad to go on this journey. And so, I don't know. Yeah, it's just you're setting yourself up. Like, you're making this part of your character. Like, I don't know. This is your first impression to your tribe. And I don't know. I thought it was a bad move, personally.
Especially to Bhanu, who wanted to go. So in Bhanu's mind, he stole a spot.
Yeah.
You know? But if you're going to do it, just be like, we've got this game. Here's how the rules are. And I immediately realized I'm in a no-win situation. So I just told them the truth. And just leave it at that. And then you admit that you lost still, obviously, because you can't have people depending on you having 2 votes tribal.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be better than, I mean, but he told the truth. The problem is that he's telling the truth about a lie that it's like, dude, just tell them that. And if they ask, did you at first lie and then tell the truth? I mean, I guess admit to it then, but I don't think anyone's going to ask that question. Just be like, I told them the truth and I lost my vote. You know, I don't know. I think it's the best way to go about this. It really is a no-win for Jelinski. Because if he wins, he angers 2 people, making them lose their vote. And if he loses his vote. Apparently, he makes his whole tribe mad. So, Jelinski, the monster legend, was in a no-win situation. But good for Maria, like momming him or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah. That was a great move on her part.
I will point out that we see Jelinski telling his tribe. We see Maria telling her tribe. We don't see Tevin telling his tribe. We don't see,
interesting.
So either Tevin's not important enough to, which is weird because Tevin's very important in this episode. He starts the whole episode off. So Tevin's important. It just means that I guess that it isn't important now that Tevin has an extra vote. Maybe it'll be important later, but it's not immediately important. Therefore, the tribe doesn't need to know, which is probably one of the hints we should have known that Orange wasn't going tribal tonight. Because that would have been left in the episode. I feel like if they were going to go, because that's an important part of tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Jess can't sleep. We kind of talked about that earlier, but she really goes on here. Like no matter where she goes, what she does, she can't sleep. She has ADHD. But then all of Yanu is idol searching, and Tiffany finds it. Now, what are the rules of this Beware Advantage? Because I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, it was a bit complex. So she finds the Beware Advantage and then runs off to read it. And then the note says, dig below where you found the note. So then she has to run back to where she found the note and dig in, like, at the base of this rock thing. And I think it's the same rock wall that Angelina climbed 50 feet to get her idol on a ladder. I think it might be. I could be wrong. It says, hey, it's all Fiji. It's all Fiji. It could be the same location for all I know. Could be. Yeah. So she gets this box that has a note attached to it. And basically the note says, you don't have a vote right now. And there's a key to open this box. And in the box is where you'll get an idol and you get your vote back. But the only way that you get a clue to where the key is if your tribe loses immunity. And so then if your tribe loses immunity, then come back to the same spot and there will be a clue to the key. And then you can, find the key and unlock the box. So yeah, it was very, very complex. But I did think it was interesting that, like, in order to get her vote back, her tribe had to lose immunity. I liked that. But yeah, it was very, confusing for sure.
Yeah. This was whatever. This was fine. I liked last seasons when they had them burn the wax. Stuff like that was more fun.
Oh, that was fun.
I did tell Mary, and I think Mary was a little annoyed at me at the moment, so she didn't react as positively as I was hoping to this idea. But when she unearthed the box, my first thought, as I guess a troublemaker, maybe a survivor troublemaker to be specific.
Yes.
And knowing how this game is played, is to immediately break the box. Do not pull out the note. Do not. Just dig it up.
Interesting.
Unless somebody's in my ear telling me I have to pull out the note.
So that you can claim ignorance.
Yes. Thank you, Rebekah. It's exactly what I said. I said, Mary, first thing you do is you take that box, you bang it against that wall right there. And then if they say something and it didn't bust open, okay. But at least you tried. Because, let's avoid the whole losing my vote part. Let's just bang this thing open. And if nobody says a word, well, it didn't say on the box not to do this. But
then watch the next season.
I thought the note was just going to tell me how to use my idol.
If you open the box, you permanently lose your vote.
Yeah. I mean, okay. We'll deal with that when we get to that, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
But my point is that the note, you just claim ignorance. Exactly. Be like, hey, I don't know what this note says. I'm just going to bang this box open. You take it. You got to go corner, though. You got to take that corner. You can't just bang the box willy-nilly. You got to put the corner into the wall.
Yeah, you got to use some strategy in this.
Yes,
yeah,
you have to strategically break the box for its weak point to bust it open. I don't care if there's a lock there. The box does not say you need a key to open this. The box is the box with the lock on it. Ignorance. Break the box open, get your vote, and the idol. And then if Jeff gets, that tribe was like, what happened? Well, I broke the box open. You didn't go get the key. if it gets brought, if for some reason, and he wouldn't bring it up though, because you wouldn't tell. Another mistake made here by Tiffany. She tells everybody. I mean, she tells most of everybody.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? You don't
Information
have to tell
is power.
You don't have to tell anybody.
Yourself.
Austin did that right last season when he didn't vote and didn't tell a soul and nobody know, or he didn't really tell. I forgot if he told anybody. He may have told Drew or whatever. But it's we went through Caleb's tribal and people thought Austin voted. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of I don't know. In this season, it seems like there's a lot of enthusiasm for playing the game, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can lead to, I mean, I get it. You find an idol, this early in the game, that's exciting. You want to tell people, but also strategically don't tell people.
I mean, and it's funny too, is that I know I did not watch these videos, but I did see a bunch of comments about it, about how I guess preseason Tiffany said she wouldn't tell anyone anything if she found an idol.
Oh boy.
So the irony is real.
Yep.
The irony is real. And I can't judge. I haven't been on the show. I can't sit here and be like, I would have done that. I mean, I say I wouldn't have done that, but also I like to run my mouth sometimes. Would you guess? So maybe I would. And then I'd be like, yep, I did it. So, well, we have our immunity challenge, Rebekah. Tell me all about this. I will admit that the gecko is cool, but other than that, go ahead. I guess let's tell you about it first.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the challenge was relatively simple, but not easy by any means. So yeah, the whole tribe first had to race up to the top of a ramp, which seemed relatively easy to get up. Everyone got up pretty quick. But on top of the ramp, there's this platform with a giant heavy gecko. I think Jeff said it was like 500 pounds and like 15 feet long, I think he said.
That means each person's carrying like 80, 90 pounds.
Yes. Yeah. So massive gecko. They mentioned geckos a couple times in this episode, so
I'm surprised Geico didn't sponsor the episode.
Yeah. Seemed like a good or a missed opportunity there, I suppose. But so anyway, so at the top of this wall or at the top of the ramp, they have to untie the gecko and then take it down a ramp, and then they have to get it over a wall. And we've seen similar things to this in the past with like giant snakes getting it over like a bamboo wall or something. It's basically that, but so they have to get this giant gecko over the wall, then they have to go through a narrow tunnel with like rope and different things, just like to make it difficult for, it's just an obstacle for like the people have to, makes it hard to walk. You can't just walk straight through it. And then once they get through the tunnel, they have to get it up another, like a final, like wall. It's not quite a wall. It's like a deck thing. And so once they get it up to the top, they clip it in, and then 2 tribe members will complete a puzzle. And then, being an immunity challenge, first 2 tribes to win or to finish win immunity. In terms of the challenge, I mean, everyone, was pretty even in the first section, getting it, getting the gecko and getting down the ramp. But once we got to the wall, Nami, the orange tribe, they got over the wall very quickly and like very quickly had just a huge lead over the other 2 tribes. Like they got all the way to the end, and like I think they started or they like clipped in and started working on the puzzle while everyone else was still like stuck trying to get it over this wall. Nami completes the puzzle pretty quickly. While they're doing the puzzle, the other 2 tribes do get there, and like it's not a complete blowout, but they are they had quite a lead going into the puzzle. So they win. They blow the other tribes out of the water, so they win. And then doing the puzzle for Sika is Mariah and Maria, I believe is the correct pronunciation. And so, the 2 of them, they do a great job. They, slow and steady, they get it done. Jelinski and Jess are on the puzzle for Yanu, the purple tribe. And Jelinski just seems to, I don't know why they put those 2 people on the puzzle. They put Jelinski, who has like made it clear that he will quit. Yeah. And Jess, who has made it very clear that she's dealing with exhaustion and brain fog and other things. So I was kind of like, that was just a poor tribe decision.
Did they throw this challenge?
Yeah. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm blanking on her name.
Why was it
Tiffany,
Kenzie or Tiffany? Yeah, why aren't they on this thing?
I mean, Tiffany did mention later that she was like excited that they lost because that's how she got the clue to the key for her idol. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. They didn't show any of them like plotting to throw the challenge or anything, but yeah, that was definitely not a good decision. Jelinski just seemed kind of confused and like not helpful during the puzzle. And so, long story short, Yanu ends up losing at the puzzle. And so they are the ones that have to go to tribal council.
Well. And right before the challenge, Jelinski clarifies that several is 7. So
yes. Oh, yes.
Maybe he thought he had several minutes to do the challenge and he only had a few.
Oh, yeah. Or that several of them would get to work on the puzzle.
Maybe he thought there were several immunities available, but there's only a couple. So, all right. So we go back to camp, and this is why, by the way, Rebekah, this is why I thought Jess was going. Right before the podcast, Rebekah and I talked a little bit, and I said, I really thought Jess was going. I thought the Jelinski thing was just a fake out, because they say real plan is Jess, Jelinski is the fake plan. But then we get a lot of other stuff after that. But I'm like, I bet you it circles back to that was ultimately is back. But no, Jelinski's gone. So I guess we can talk through all this knowing Jelinski's going to go, not Jess. So we come back to camp. Originally, the real plan is Jess. Jelinski's the fake plan. Tiffany cracks the code, gets the idol, which, by the way, unimpressive, the idol. Mary pointed that out. And I'm like, I guess. It's all the same at this point.
Yeah.
Because they want people to make fakes.
That's true. Yeah, it was very simple. Just like kind of a bit of like twine or string or something with beads on it. Yeah. The art
department doesn't have time to make good hidden immunity idols when they're making banging tribal council sets. Like the tribal council set is amazing.
Fair. Yeah. They also had to put together those giant geckos, so I'm sure that took a lot of time and resources. So
I know we're not the tribal yet. Go ahead.
What if one of the geckos was an immunity idol?
Maybe somebody should have taken Jeff's knife and cut it open. And inside is the immunity idol. Oh, you mean you want them to bring the whole 500-pound gecko to tribal? Dude, the visual.
Yeah, just put it in your pocket.
Jeff, can I play this? Can I play this gecko? I took the challenge. You want to play that? You want to play that gecko? Yes, Jeff, I want to play this gecko.
Oh, man.
All right.
Like, what was that one season? I'm so bad at remembering who it was, but someone like tried to play part of like Jeff's little podium
That's
thing.
What I was referencing. Adam and Winners of War.
Yeah. Adam, that's who it was. Yes.
In an international version of Survivor, that was actually a thing that happened. And Adam was like, I wonder if they're doing that in American Survivor. They were not. Though it wasn't it wasn't the worst idea.
No, it was a great idea and such an iconic moment for sure.
Yeah. And I still think they should do that at some point. I think at some point you should have to get up and rip a piece of the voting booth, or not the voting booth, but Jeff's booth, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I also think they should hide an idol in the voting booth itself, because that's another like, how have we not done this still?
I like that.
But I think the best one's definitely, you got to rip it off of Jeff's podium.
Yeah.
I still think they should do that. That's
even
great.
Better, have Jeff wear it. It's like a necklace, and Jeff is like wearing this necklace, and you have to go.
You have to go and clip it off of Jeff's neck.
Necklace. Jeff, I would like to play your necklace.
Jeff, can I play your necklace? You want to play my necklace? The one my daughter made for me?
Yeah, you want to give me back my necklace and then you expect me to give you immunity? Okay.
Jeff just like asks questions constantly, rhetorical, that he knows the answers to. All right. So Tiffany Cracksco gets the idol, and we basically get Jelinski's like laying down like, I ain't really got to do nothing. He thinks Jess is gone for sure because he's a monster. He is a legend. He is Jelinski. It's too bad he's not staying around, so we can't make this the running joke of the season.
Yeah. I mean,
it can't be. He's gone. No. Even Claire, who, by the way, would have sat out the immunity challenge tonight as well, was around for more than one episode.
Yeah.
Oh man, earlier you said something, and I was going to bring up Sierra voting off her own mom, and I missed the opportunity. I told you I had a way to integrate all these running gags, but
Wait, what was the thing I said? I could set you up again.
Forgot. It's been so long.
Oh man,
it's been so long. You mentioned something, but I didn't want to interrupt you because I have a habit of doing that to people on the podcast. So, all right. Well, we go to Tribal Council, which, by the way, amazing job again with the art department.
Absolutely.
Ever since, I want to say 44 is the first new era season where I thought, wow, they did a really good job with Tribal. And I don't blame them for 41, 42. They were under extreme circumstances there. That was literally, they had to have 2 weeks of quarantine for everybody. That was different. I cut everybody slack artistically for that season, those seasons. But starting with 43, they had more time and knowing that what they were going to do. And they did a great job with 44. I don't really remember 43's Tribal, but 45, 44, 46. I mean, just give them a theme, Jeff. Just give them a theme, because they have the ability. Just, can we make whatever the theme is like into the challenges and everything else? Like, it doesn't have to be about Fiji, I guess, but can we just have a theme? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, warriors or versus monks. I don't know. I don't know if that's really a theme for
Geckos,
Survivor.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on the logo, and then they
Well,
did do it
yeah.
in the challenge. Unlike the Pelicans last season, which they never did in a challenge.
mhm.
I just wish they would give them a theme. It could just be like
Yeah.
just a theme that just permeates throughout all the challenges. It doesn't have to be a casting theme. Just, I don't know, just something. Because the art department killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. They got nothing to go off of. They're just they're free, but at the same time they got no direction, so they make up their own direction, and I love it. It doesn't fit Survivor 46 at all, but I love it. It doesn't make any sense, but I love it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Props to the art department. That's all I'm saying. So we go to tribal.
Props is a different. Oh, wait.
What? I was saying we go to
Props
tribal.
is a different department. I was making a joke off of the fact you said props.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's be like Jelinski and break the hourglass. Okay. Props to the art department for the amazing tribal council.
Yeah. Absolutely. Props is a different department, but props to the art department.
Oh, that was your joke? All right. I shouldn't even. All right. I am undoing the hourglass throw.
Okay. All right.
That was terrible. Okay. All right. So we go to tribal and Jelinski's like, yeah, I don't quit. And this gave me Nayanka season 21 vibes when she literally quit the game and goes, I'm not a quitter, Jeff. And he's like, what are you doing right now?
You're actively quitting.
Yes. So Jelinski here is like, I'm not a quitter. And as the people point out, 2 examples of quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the only the props that I will give Jelinski is that he does try and argue his case at tribal. Like, he's not interested in quitting this game, which I do appreciate, because especially after last season, like I do appreciate that he's like, no, I want to be here, and
Jelinski thinks he's a legend, so why would he quit?
He does. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think, like, he clearly doesn't have a lot to back up his arguments, because he has quit twice already. But I appreciate at least the effort, for sure.
I wonder his success rate as a salesman, because he does back out a lot of things.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Maybe that's a sales tactic. Like, you just kind of like just trying to agree with what anybody says as you push your own narrative at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess is bad at tribal as well, but that's why I said it's like there's pros and cons to voting off either person. It's not like there's a clear cut, obviously, choice, in my opinion. So they do vote off Jelinski. Jeff does not let Jelinski get away with his shenanigans. Jeff is still seething from Hannah and Sean last season. Yeah. Jeff has it out. Like, he even said it multiple times since Sean and Hannah quit that he will not be nice to quitters. So Jelinski even giving hints of quitting is not okay with Jeff. Jeff is over it.
Because didn't Jeff say that, like, if you quit, he's not going to snuff your torch anymore?
Nope.
Yeah.
They should have stopped snuffing after season 21 when they had the double quit. And he didn't want to snuff their torch, but he did it anyways, probably because they had no other backup plan, or he didn't know what to do. He was making up on the fly. But yeah, or I guess now it's official.
Yeah, fair enough.
So next time on Survivor, people are mad at each other. That's my note.
Yeah.
That's really it. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like there's going to be some drama, which is good with the longer episode for sure.
I love when people have their feelings hurt on Survivor within the context of the game, not because we're being actually cruel to each other in ways that reflect outside, just within the game of Survivor. Let's be, awesome. Be mean to each other. Be mad at each other. Yes, this is what I want. So we'll see if it's just being played up on next time at Survivor just for, we'll see if it's just being played up or not. Yeah. I don't know yet. So that's it for the episode that I have. Do you have anything else for the episode before we move on?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it.
Okay, well, over on Patreon, which, by the way, these podcasts are available to all patrons, free and paid, the night the episode airs. So if you're listening to this right now, you could have listened to this Wednesday night right after the episode. We record it right after the episode, and I throw it up on Patreon right after. So links in the description for that. I just posted the Fabio winner story. I just posted Crystal Cox's story video, Blazing Fast Speed. I believe it's the 7 times Survivors went full villain video I posted a week ago. And right now we are voting on which players from Survivor Redemption Island should get story videos. So if you're interested in any of that, check out Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel financially. As you hear, I think we've done like 2 sponsors in our entire, I don't know, 5 years of existence, 4 years of existence. And it's because I get sponsors emailing me and I'm like, I wouldn't even buy your product with my own money. So I say, just say no. I say no all the time to things.
Yeah.
And all I do instead is Patreon, because I'm like, I don't want to put sponsors on our shows and stuff, the stuff I don't care about and I would not pay money for. So, all right. Anyways, I'm not trying to, I'm just throwing it out there because I just been getting so many emails and I'm like, I just would not buy your products and I'm not going to push it. So, all right. Well, if you want to check that out, link in the description. Let's move on. So last season we did last week's secret scenes. And I think I might have said this earlier in the podcast, but if I didn't, I'll repeat myself. We will be doing the secret scenes from tonight's episode that they post on the Survivor CBS YouTube channel tomorrow with Mary, because I feel like it's more. Last season, it literally told us 4 people who wouldn't win the show, wouldn't win the season. So I feel like it's more winner analysis than it is, let's talk about it a week later. So Mary and I will talk about those tomorrow on the winner analysis podcast. So we'll skip past that section. We're not going to do that section this season on our breakdown podcast. We'll do it on our winner analysis podcast every Thursday or every Friday on YouTube, Thursday on Patreon. Okay, so Rebekah, I told you, and that last season, it went every other week, but this season we're doing every week.
Okay.
Last season I had Mary do one week and I did the next week. No, this season you're going to give me a hard trivia question. I hope it's hard. And I'll give you what I assume is a hard trivia question. And
Amazing.
We'll see if somebody can keep track. Maybe you keep track. Maybe somebody in the comments keep track. I don't know. I want to know who wins at the end of the season. So
sounds good.
I'll let you go first. What's your question for me? What's your trivia question about Survivor?
Okay. All right. So, my question is, which 3 seasons are tied for the fewest pre-merge tribals?
Oh my goodness.
And there's 3 of them. So to make it a little easier, I mean, if you can name 1 or 2 of them, like I'll give you a point for each you can name. And if
multiple
if it helps,
choice or anything?
If it helps at all, each of these 3 seasons had 5 pre-merge tribals.
Okay.
Which seems very few to me.
Oh no, that's I can narrow Survivor
it down.
42. Is that one of them?
No, it is not.
I was just thinking because we had that person.
Yes.
Dave, what about Dave versus Goliath? Is that one of them?
Yes, that is one of them.
Because there was a medevac in episode 1. One World?
No,
that had medevac in episode 1, so I was thinking. So Dave versus Goliath is 1. I don't want to. I mean, I could sit here and guess all 45 seasons, so I feel like it's unfair if I sit here and guess every season.
That's true.
So I've gotten one of them. Well, hold on. Let me give me one more chance. I'll see if I get the next one. Let me go from there. But if I don't, let's move on.
Let me give you a little bit of a hint. So the 2 remaining seasons are, like one of them is a very early season and one of them is a pretty recent season.
Okay,
so
all right.
that's a little vague, but just to narrow down a little bit.
That's good because I was thinking more newer seasons because the merge seems to happen so quick nowadays. Early season. So season 1, there's I'm trying to think when merges were happening in the earlier seasons. Only 5 tribals and then they merged, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, or 5 tribals for whatever reason. Shoot, an early season.
Yeah.
I am blanking on early season, late season. I'm going to guess season 44.
That is correct.
Because MGM went out an episode. I think they canceled Tribal that episode. Okay, since I got that right, one more chance on the early season. So we got Dave vs. Goliath. We got 44. Mother Trucker. What is the season only had 5 before the merge? And it'd have to be something stupid that would have occurred to make it happen like that. I assume they didn't just plan it. Oh, it's not Palau. I know that. I don't know, Rebekah. What is it?
Would you like me to tell you? Okay. It is season 2, Australia.
Oh, because Scoopin got medevaced in episode 6.
Yep.
I was thinking through when all the medevacs were happening and what would cause them. Okay. That makes sense. Wow. Who knew there was that large of a gap between 2 and 37?
Yeah. So that was a very tough question, but I think you got a solid 2 points out of that. I got 2 out of 3. I get 2/3 of a point. Not bad.
2/3.
Not bad.
All right. Well, my questions are always multiple choice because I'm nice. Also, I don't think you're going to get it, but all right. Which season?
I'm probably not, to be honest.
That's why I make mine multiple choice because I know how deep each of us are in this Survivor world. So Which season had its theme song not approved and then replaced by the Borneo theme song? Your options are Survivor 21 Nicaragua, Survivor 28 Cagayan, Survivor 31 Cambodia, or Survivor 45.
Interesting.
The person who made the theme song submitted it. They said, nope, we're going to use the Borneo one instead.
Interesting. So I don't think it was 45. Yeah, boy, I don't know for sure. Can you list the other three options again?
Survivor 21 Nicaragua, Survivor 28 Cagayan, Survivor 31 Cambodia.
I'm going to guess... this is just a shot in the dark. I'm going to guess 28.
Nope, it's Survivor 21 Nicaragua. Russ Landau.
Nice.
By the way, YouTube this after the, like, no joke. YouTube this one after the after we're done podcasting. It is so good. It has the potential to be the best theme song, and they did not approve it, probably because they felt like it was too different, and they just used the original Borneo theme song, which is so boring, especially after you hear the unapproved Nicaragua one. You're like, what? They didn't use this? This is so good. So, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. It's really good. I encourage everybody to check it out on YouTube. Maybe it's in other places, but it's on YouTube for sure. So, all right. Well, we'll move on to TV ratings. Just to tell you that we can't do that till next week because there's no TV ratings yet, but we are doing it again this season, of course. So with that, let's move to winner analysis. Tonight, Rebekah and I will be doing our top 3. And then tomorrow, Mary and I will go in depth. Well, this will be all season. Rebekah's going to do the Wednesday podcasts. We will do our top 3. And then on the next, I'm sorry, I say Wednesday because that's when we're recording. Thursday on YouTube, Wednesday on Patreon. And then the next day we'll do Mary. With Mary, we'll do everybody. So go ahead, Rebekah. Who's your number 3?
Yeah, so number 3 was really hard for me because I feel like there's so many people that have potential based on this episode, but there's a lot of people that we haven't, like, they just haven't been to Tribal yet. We haven't really seen them actually play yet. So the person I chose is Soda. She has a lot of personality, seems, very likable. She's playing very similarly to someone who's won in the past. And yeah, it just seems like she's in a good spot on like a great tribe. So yeah, there are a few options for my number 3, but she's the one that I picked. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens next week, I guess.
She's not a bad pick by any means.
Yeah.
It's so early in the season that aside from all the red herrings, we don't really have any solid evidence. This is why I say every season, we need all 3 tribes to go tribal so I can get a semblance of where people really stand. Because it's all just talk. I mean, it's all just talk until people go to tribal. So my number 3 is Bhanu. I believe it's how you say his name. I apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly. Bhanu. I feel like they really liked Bhanu in the story. They let him narrate. So he's getting a lot of airtime. And clearly he wasn't even in danger going tonight in his own tribe. So I think pre-tribe swap, Bhanu is solid. We'll see how things go. If there is a tribe swap, we'll see how it goes come a merge. I think Bhanu is a lock to make the merge just based on the focus they gave him. And it wasn't negative. It was positive focus. A lot of positivity on Bhanu's side. So he is my number 3. Who is your number 2?
So my number 2 is Maria. Yes. For someone who hasn't been to Tribal yet, I think we've gotten to see some gameplay from her. I liked when she played the mom card during the journey, and like, I don't know, we just got to see that, like, okay, she's here to play. She seems very likable. She's bonded with, I think his name is Tim, over the fact that they're both parents. She's also in the Girls Alliance
Charlie's
on her tribe,
Angels,
Charlie's Angels. So yeah, she seems to be in a very good spot in a tribe that's doing well. So she is my number 2 pick.
Maria for me is not a top 3, but Soda, I'm like middle of the road on. Well, you're number 3, but you're number 2. I'm like, yeah, no, I see it. She's not my top 3, but I agree. I see it. I see how she has potential to go very far. My number 2 is Kenzie, who not only had a red herring quote tonight. I mean, it could be the real one. We just don't know. Everything's a red herring until we get proof. She has a red herring winner quote, but also a lot of positivity on her end. Again, she seems safe. I have 2 people in mind from Yanu because they went to tribal, so I feel like I have a decent grasp of them in terms of where they stand, but she's not going nowhere. She's not going nowhere. And she seems to be a major focus in every aspect. I don't know. I just feel like Kenzie's solid. No, I have no issue. I have no reason to suspect Kenzie is not going far. So yeah, who's your number one?
Yeah, one note on Kenzie. Because she's not in my top 3, but I do agree with you, and I see what you're saying, because like, yeah, she does seem like a very positive person, and you know, she has some good connections in her tribe. She was there the whole time with Tiffany getting her idol. So even though like Kenzie was not focused on at all really during that, it was like clear that, I don't know, Tiffany trusts her. Yeah, definitely a good sign. And yeah, we got to hear from her a lot, and it was like mostly positive stuff. So yeah, that's all good. I agree with all that. My number 1 pick is Bhanu, which again, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yes. So yeah, he's my number 1. I think that, I mean, a lot of the same things you were saying about him, just, you know, we're hearing a ton from him. I felt like he was almost the main character in this episode, and a lot of it was really positive. I feel like he's emotional, like in a lot of good ways. Like when they lost immunity, and you know, Jeff was asking him about it, and he got very emotional, and there was emotional music. At Tribal, I think he had the last or one of the last lines before voting, you know, and anyway, yeah, I think that he is good for morale. He's definitely a tribe leader. Like you said, he was not in any danger of going home tonight, even though he is on a tribe that's kind of a hot mess. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for him as an individual, I think he has a good shot at winning. So yeah, what about you? I
like Bhanu as well. My number 3. My number 1 is Tevin. I'm actually surprised he didn't make the top 3, frankly.
Yeah.
He also has fair. A red herring as of now, for a winner quote or a winner or whatever hint at the beginning of the season. He also had the opening narration, so he is a main character. You don't get the opening narration if you ain't making it far. Let's put it that way. They ain't doing the opening narration from Jelinski. That would have been a joke. That would have been funny in retrospect, but it would have been a joke. So Tevin got the very serious, dramatic opening of the show. So here's my thoughts on my top 3 in terms of how I think about them at the moment. Bhanu feels like a fan favorite who doesn't get to the end. Kenzie feels like a fan favorite or a villain, possibly. I don't know if they're going to do, as Jeff says, no villains, but she might get the 3-dimensional villain edit, whatever it's called, where she's too cocky and gets far, but like loses. Tevin's my number 1 because I feel like Tevin, he's on the dominant tribe, the tribe that clearly is not going to struggle with challenges based on what we've seen so far. And he's very likable. No one's spoken an ill word about Tevin so far. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I think the show likes him. They've given him a lot of airtime. I don't have the confessional count in front of me. I'll have it tomorrow when we do winner analysis. But I just like, if there is an obvious winner this season, to me, it's obviously Tevin. But I can't, like, I'm not gonna see episode 1 and say Tevin's the winner because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. And yeah, there's even things like when Liz is talking about her, you know, businesses or whatever, and then we hear from Tevin and he's like, oh, this is why that's a bad idea. My one thing with him though, and I mean, obviously it doesn't matter because their tribe probably isn't going to go to tribal council for a while, but he is kind of, I don't know if he's on the right side of the numbers if they were to go to tribal, because the girls kind of have a clique going on and Brandon seems to not be playing super well. So yeah, that's like my one thing is I don't know if he is in a great alliance at the moment, but also if you're not going to tribal, it kind of doesn't matter. So yeah, I agree with
why does it matter if your tribe is winning because they're dominant in challenges? Yeah. Also, I think Tevin would get along just fine with anybody at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem to be.
That's fair.
Like he doesn't seem like somebody who's going to struggle to integrate with others by any means. So Tevin is almost like Caleb in that sense, except I think Tevin might actually be able to keep his himself under the radar more than Caleb. Caleb was like, it was too like especially I guess when you're when you're on the tribe of misfits, like Caleb was, and you're the only one who is like seems like a good player. I mean, I liked, I forget her name and I apologize. She was the third boot she's the third boot of the season. She was on Lulu. I forgot what her name was. Sabaya. I liked her. She was good. Yes. She clearly got played. Mm-hmm. I think she was good too, but I think Caleb was like far obviously the best player in the tribe. And it was like, maybe it stood out more. Whereas here it's like, is Tevin the best player in tribe? I don't know, but I think Tevin will do just fine. So
yeah,
I would bet money, but I wouldn't bet money, but I'd bet money that Tevin, Kenzie, and Bhanu make it past the merge. And that's at the moment what I'm looking for. Who's going to make it past the merge? Because then we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. So, and your picks too, Bhanu, Maria, Soda. Soda's the only one of your three where I'm like, maybe she won't make it past the merge, but I can't really say. But Maria, I'm with you. I think Maria's making it past the merge.
Yeah.
Which at the moment is what we're really trying. Who's going to make it past the merge right now? And we'll figure out winner later if we can't figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So. All right, let's move on to your all's questions. As soon as the episode is done on airing on CBS, I asked for your all's questions here on YouTube on my community tab. So first question, Rebekah, is from Quippin. Quippin says, is it just me or does it feel underwhelming for the hidden immunity idol just be a bead bracelet?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
Underwhelming, but, I mean, yeah.
Like you mentioned, it is interesting that, I don't know, if they're trying to encourage people to make fake idols, I guess it makes sense to keep them simpler. You said that earlier. But yeah, that's really the only advantage I can see. But also like, I don't know. I'm a fan of more complex idols, but I don't know.
The Rebel Dog asked, do you think the intro, the theme song, will have a hint like Survivor 45's did with D? I don't think so personally, because they hadn't done that since Philippines. It seems like I think we're going to be on to it this time. They'll give us some time before they do something like that again. I always feel like they did it just because they hadn't had a theme song in so long. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have a hint, but it would have to be a very subtle hint.
Yeah.
Like, last season was pretty obvious. So
the moment you saw it, you couldn't unsee it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't see it for a bit, and then somebody pointed out to me, and I couldn't unsee it. So, next question is from Levian Drade. Is it just me, or the social dynamics getting very repetitive? I'm done with the 3-tribe format. I think we already explored everything about it. Yes, I agree. Can we do 2 tribes? Can we put all 3 tribes on one beach? Is that too much?
Yeah.
Can we do one world again, but better?
That could be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to do 3 tribes, can we just do and they can all live in different parts of the beach. They don't have to be right next to each other, but just it's like, is that, is Zelensky going over to the other tribe and talking to them right now? That's the kind of stuff we get. And it'd be very obvious because we're all living in separate parts of the same beach. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Next question is from Dylan. Is the Yanu tribe already the hot mess tribe?
Yeah, I think yes. Maybe not quite as bad as Lulu, but yeah, definitely not off to a great start. But without Zelensky quitting everything, maybe next episode will be a little better. We'll see.
Well, I don't know. We already saw Bhanu getting mad at Jester in the challenge. Probably like she's collapsing or having exhaustion or whatever.
Yeah.
Next question from Hayden. They want to know, do we like the Torch Skull vote game, the card game? They said they liked it. Mm-hmm. Did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did like it. I don't think it was played to its fullest potential. And I don't know if that's the fault of the game or just the people in the situation of who was there and how they chose to play it. So I think it could have been more interesting than it was, but I did like it. I like the concept.
As you heard me earlier say, I think it's contrived. All right. Next question. It says, do we think any of these winner quotes are legit or... Oh, sorry, I missed the name on that one. 5RG2 asks, do you think the winner quotes will mean anything this season, considering a lot of people got one? What do you think, Rebekah?
I guess it depends on what you mean by does it mean anything this season? Because, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner was among those quotes. But, yeah, since there's so many of them, it's not obvious that, oh, that's the winner because they said this. So, yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if the winner is among those people. So, I don't know. What do you think?
What if it really is Gem?
Yeah, that That would be crazy.
And she said it to us, and just like Richard in season 1, we just ignored it.
Yeah.
You're like, that's too obvious.
She's pulling a Gabler. She's,
hiding in plain
what
sight.
was his quote? Hiding in plain sight. That was the thing. Yeah.
The alligabler. All right.
Yes.
Brody asked, did Jelensky curse himself when he broke the hourglass?
Ooh.
I think that's the defining moment. I think, yeah. Because before that, he's like, I have an alliance with Q. He said that right before.
Yeah. Breaking the glass. It's not a mirror, but maybe it's 7 years bad luck. And that's where he got the 7 from. So
he has several years of bad luck.
Several years.
All right. Rachel J. Survivor fan says, did you know everyone loves Taylor Swift, Rebekah?
Oh, yeah. What's to hate? What's not to love,
I think she is overrated, Rebekah. You want to get into that?
Oh. How much time do you have?
I think she's good. I think she's overrated. I'm by no means I'm ever going to say Taylor Swift is a bad artist. All right. Next question from Griffin. Why would Jelensky think that several meant 7? Like, I'm just flabbergasted at the whole logic. I don't know. I don't know. What maybe he heard it once in school and he just ran with it.
Yeah, because I genuinely think he actually thought that. Like, I don't think he was lying. Like, he seemed very confused when everyone else was surprised. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he seemed very shocked, I guess.
Like, one time he asked what several was. Somebody told him either as a joke or they thought that too. And he's just like, he's committed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last question is from Chelsea. This one's a little meta, but I guess you're at the end of our podcast. You get a little meta with us. Chelsea asks, am I the only one who's majorly bummed that Dee from Survivor 45 is the new On Fire with Jeff Probst co-host? I wasn't a big fan of her last season. I feel like the energy is going to be so different from Rick Devens. I can speak to this. I mean, I'll let you go, Rebekah, first, and then I'll give my take.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I haven't listened to a ton of Jeff's podcast. Don't tell Jeff I said that.
I'm sure he cares too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like Dee. I think she'd make a great co-host, but I don't know. I could be in the minority here.
I know a lot of people have a distaste towards Dee ever since her affair with Wendell, which, by the way, they're both equally, I don't know if the equally is the right word, but they're both responsible for what happened. I don't know if you heard about this, Rebekah, but.
Actually, no, I didn't. No.
Wendell cheated on his baby mama / girlfriend with Dee, like right around the time she was pregnant or she just had their kid. Pick one. I don't have all the details. What I do know is that it was rumored and then Wendell confirmed it and then he deleted his confirmation tweet, but you better believe they screenshot it. And people did some deep diving on that, and I put that in my 45 Secrets video. If people want all the details that are public, because I didn't do any investigating beyond the public stuff, because if it's public, it's fine, but I'm not going to go. I'm not interested in digging for more. Leave that to others. But yeah, so that happened. So people have distaste towards Dee because of that.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
My person, that does not affect whether I care about her being the podcast co-host. I don't like Dee as the podcast co-host because I heard her on all her exit interviews and her podcast with Rob, and she lacked any humility at all. And it was very annoying to listen to because Dee acted like everything she did was perfect and planned. And it was like so annoying to listen to. Like there was just there's no like admittance of, I don't think it's the right word saying that word, admittance of doing anything. I did screw up on that. It was, everything was perfect. Everything was planned. I did everything perfectly. And don't ask me about Austin. And it's like, how can I not ask you about Austin? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was like a whole major plot line in the show that was on national TV. What's up with Austin? So anyways, I don't think I'm going to, I think Dee would be better if there's a couple years removed, maybe. It's just too fresh. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, Jeff's podcast it's his thing. He can do what he wants. He wants to get the most recent winner, go for it. I listen to Jeff's podcast for Jeff because Jeff sometimes has the most asinine things. Sometimes he goes off and does a 6-minute rant on how much he hates Adam Klein without saying Adam specifically because of his casting business. Sometimes Jeff says contradictory things in the same podcast. I'm here for it. I, by the way, love Jeff as a host. I have no issues with Jeff as a host. I think Jeff's a great host.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, do you know, did Adam's company get anyone on this season?
If he did, he didn't say anything that I know of.
Okay.
Might be best to keep your mouth shut at the moment, frankly, with how hard Jeff went against you.
That's fair.
Maybe keep it a little secret. Like Adam has like Halpathic cast this season. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like CBS paid him hush money.
Yeah.
Shut up, so tell people you did this.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, no, I actually really liked it. Despite all the criticism I give, I think the show it wouldn't be the same without Jeff. I watch other shows without Jeff. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I even watched Deal or No Deal Island this week with Boston Rob. The host is good, but I'm like, this would have been better with Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you checked that out yet?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. No, but yeah, I will for sure.
First episode's up on Peacock. For those wondering, it is Deal or No Deal Island in the most literal sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Anyways, I think it's it for this week, Rebekah. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. No, I think we covered it.
Okay. Well, we thank you all for listening. I'll be with you all tomorrow for our Winter Analysis podcast, and Rebekah and I will be back in 2 days for our Traders podcast. All right. Bye.